We need to talk about Elder Scrolls 6, not the meme version, not the it's been 87 years jokes, or we got the title screen, 7 years ago? This is actual information straight from Todd Howard's mouth, and it was just yesterday. Welcome to the channel, everybody. Jimmy or Chaos. Do me a quick favor. Make sure you guys are subscribed, and now you can find all the Chaos Gaming and main channel Chaos content over on Spotify. That's right. Chaos Gaming has its own Spotify channel. If you want to listen, if you want to watch the videos, whatever it may be, link is at the top of the description, and I will pin the comment as well. If you do go over there, if you happen to use Spotify, please leave a rating, make sure you follow, leave me some comments. So, we have an actual update. A real update, not a complete speculation video wondering when this game is going to come out, what it's going to be like. We have real stuff. February 18th, Todd Howard sat down and gave us something that we have not had in a while, a clear directional update on Elder Scrolls 6. Remember, I read every single comment on every single video, so get those comments going. Now, this matters, not because we have a release date, because we don't. Not because we got gameplay, because we didn't. But because for the first time in a long time, Bethesda is now signaling to you and me what this game is supposed to be. It actually tells us a lot. It's a short statement, but there's a lot to unpack. So let's break it down in real time, what it means and what actually could be happening going forward. So Todd Howard described Elder Scrolls 6 as a return to Bethesda's signature open world exploration style. That was not accidental wording, I promise you. He specifically separated it from Fallout 76 and Starfield. That's super important because the narrative around Bethesda the last few years has been 76 launched rough, Starfield was divisive, loading screens became a meme, engine complaints are, let's just say, really loud. So when Todd says, return to what fans love, that's messaging. That is strategic messaging. It's Bethesda acknowledging what people want from the next Elder Scrolls 6. And that reset tone matters more than any cinematic teaser that we could get right now. So let's talk the facts here, okay? On February 18th, in an interview, Todd confirmed the game is being built on the upgraded Creation Engine 3. Now, he mentioned improvements to rendering, world systems, loading times, all of it. And development is progressing toward a major internal milestone. What that is, I have no idea. The design focus is open world exploration in the classic Bethesda style. We also know the game was announced in 2018 with the Hammerfell teaser, and then we got full production that began in 2023. So release? Well, release is expected post-2026, but we'll talk about that. We know we're not getting that game this year. We know we're not getting that game next year, I don't think. Platforms not confirmed, none of that. No release window beyond anytime soon. No confirmed platforms, no gameplay footage. But that internal milestone comment, it has me thinking. When Todd talks about internal milestones, he's usually referring to major playable builds, vertical slices, alpha builds, feature complete phases of a game. It doesn't mean close to launch, but it does mean that that foundation is absolutely real. We are not in a concept art phase with Elder Scrolls 6 anymore, my friends. And I'll tell you right now, they have some sweat going here. They are sweating because you're seeing games like Crimson Desert, which hasn't even launched yet, but is like blowing everybody away with what it is offering. I mean, just the tip of the iceberg. You don't actually level up in this game. You just acquire things to upgrade your power. This is Crimson Desert's the closest thing we will have actively to Red Dead Redemption 2. And it's a pretty much direct competitor, if you ask me, to something like an Elder Scrolls 6. So they know the bar is getting set higher and higher. I'm going to mark it right now. Jimmy said Crimson Desert will be a contender for Game of the Year 2026. Mark my words, guys. Mark my words. Anyway, this isn't a video about Crimson Desert. So, the Hammerfell teaser. What it signaled. Let's rewind all the way back to 2018. That teaser showed a rocky coastline in a desert-like terrain. Fans immediately assumed Hammerfell. Bethesda never officially confirmed it, but they didn't correct it. And in typical Bethesda fashion, the silence usually means we're going to let you connect the dots yourself. Hammerfell makes sense. It's geographically distinct from Skyrim. It allows desert coastlines, mountains. It gives room for naval elements if they want to explore that, which we've talked about in past videos, and you guys were very divisive on that, split right down the middle. It also introduces Redguard culture at the forefront. Importantly enough, it feels different enough from Skyrim while also feeling like Skyrim and feeling like Elder Scrolls, and that is the formula they need to capture. Now, let's address the elephant in the room when it comes to the Creation Engine 3. Every Bethesda game issue eventually lands right here. Todd confirmed it's running on an upgraded Creation Engine 3 with improvements to rendering, world systems, and loading times. That tells me two things. One, they're not abandoning their tech foundation. Two, they now know they need visible improvements. And the creation engine has strengths: massive systematic object interaction, you got persistent world states, mod support infrastructure, but it also carries baggage. The loading segmentation, the animation stiffness, the NPC AI, let's just say, quirks. So if Creation Engine 3 meaningfully reduces loading interruptions and expands seamless world traversal, that could change the entire conversation. If it feels like Starfield's segmented travel again, we're right back to the same debate. We're doing circles. So this engine evolution is arguably the biggest technical factor in how this game actually is received by you and me. So I said earlier, they teased this in 2018 and then full production didn't start till 2023. Why in the world would you tease a game and then start 5 years later? I mean, Bethesda Game Studios has two major commitments: Fallout 76 support and Starfield development, or they had. Starfield launched in 2023. Only after that did Elder Scrolls 6 enter full production. That means we are realistically 3 to 4 years into serious development. Now, for a game of this scale, that's not really that long. Skyrim had years of development. Starfield had a long development cycle. So when people say it's been announced for 8 years, that is technically true. But the full production time is what matters here. And that started in 2023. And I know we could all say that's on them. That's their fault. They shouldn't have teased this in 2018. And you are absolutely correct. Now let's zoom out for a second. Skyrim sold over 60 million copies across platforms. It's one of the best-selling games of all time. Elder Scrolls 6 is not going to be a niche RPG. It is a flagship, right? It's also a Microsoft-owned IP now, and that's important because platform strategy is now part of this equation. We don't have confirmed platforms, but Microsoft has increasingly leaned toward ecosystem strategy over pure exclusivity wars, which I like. Starfield was Xbox and PC exclusive. Will Elder Scrolls stay exclusive? I hope not. I really don't. But given Skyrim's cross-platform history, I mean, Microsoft knows the financial weight of this IP. I think this decision is going to be strategic, but I really, really hope they make the right one for all gamers across all platforms. Now, let's talk about what we don't know, my friends. We don't know the protagonist structure. We don't know whether it keeps silent protagonist tradition, combat system evolution. We don't know anything about settlement systems, multiplayer components if there are any, platform confirmations, or the final release window. We also don't know how ambitious the world scale is going to be. I divert back to Crimson Desert. If you've been watching the gameplay and the overviews and all the footage, that world is massive. I mean, Starfield tried to scale vertically across planets. Elder Scrolls, it needs to scale horizontally, right? So we'll see what happens here. Now, there are some viral posts that are claiming the game is almost done. They're saying we're going to get a teaser trailer in April and it's going to release in 2026 guaranteed, and it has multiplayer. None of that is officially stated. Todd's milestone comment does not equal near release, I promise. Post 2026 likely means, let's be real, 2027 if we get every genie wish we ever wanted granted, but probably 2028. Everything else is probably BS. I'm just going to put that out there. Now the fun part of the video, my friends: speculation, story direction. If Hammerfell is a setting, I think we could see heavy Redguard lore here. Possibly even political conflict with the Aldmeri Dominion. I mean, Skyrim ended with civil unrest and a lot of tension, right? The Thalmor tension. If Bethesda follows its pattern of advancing the timeline meaningfully, Elder Scrolls 6 could actually explore that fallout. But they might also pivot away from Skyrim's political storyline entirely and focus on some regional storylines. Bethesda typically centers one province deeply rather than continuing mainline war arcs directly, so we'll see. I mean, after Starfield's feedback, I don't know. They got to hit this right. And also after Starfield's feedback, it would make sense for Bethesda to emphasize handcrafted density here. If they lean back into hidden caves, environmental storytelling, seamless exploration, it's going to be a home run. Todd's return to what fans love line suggests they may actually be going that way. And then now let's talk about the combat. Bethesda RPG combat has historically been, let's say, serviceable, not really revolutionary, right? If Creation Engine 3 improves animation, blending, and responsiveness, this could be the first time that Elder Scrolls combat actually feels modern rather than legacy-driven. I mean, that's all speculation. They could also just stick close to the formula and not try to modernize a thing. You let me know what you think or what you think they need to do there. And back to the platform. If Microsoft continues the current ecosystem approach, there's a scenario where this launches on Xbox and PC first and then expands later. Or, heck, it could stay fully exclusive. I don't know. Microsoft's flexibility with publishing strategy makes this really, really less predictable than it was 2 years ago. So we'll have to wait and see here. I mean, let's be real. The expectations for this game are enormous. overcorrection on the game, play it too safe, you could let people down. Engine perception backlash, we already know what their engines have done. I mean, comparison fatigue to Skyrim. Skyrim was redone and redone and redone and redone. So we'll see. And then if we're going to market shift this to 2027 or 2028, I don't know. I mean, the longer the wait, the more the expectations become. And now that Todd has actually opened his mouth, you know we're all going to take that and run with it. So we'll see. Todd's messaging suggests to me that Bethesda understands that we want a lot of things, but we want cohesive open worlds in this game. We want seamless exploration. We want that handcrafted magic. We don't want fragmented systems or segmented travel. We don't want procedurally generated things. A lot of you don't want naval warfare. You want this to feel like Elder Scrolls, and I get that. So we'll see. But the exciting part is they're talking, my friends, and if they're talking, that means stuff is going to start coming through the pipeline, and I will keep you covered on every bit of it. Hope you guys have a great day. Check me out on Spotify, and I'll see you soon.